They already knew Encana had violated the laws and regulations in place to protect groundwater. I'm Jessica Ernst from Rosebud, Alberta, Canada. I'm an environmental consultant in the oil and gas industry. I have 30 years experience in this industry. I don't believe that fracking can be done safely, not even with the best in the world regulations and laws that we have in Alberta.
West Clare here, there is two key economic drivers here are agriculture and tourism. The agri-economy was worth 9 billion to Ireland last year in exports, and it brought in 4 billion in revenue, in tourism revenue. That is a big, big chunk of our national revenue. If you're going to bring fracking into rural areas, and that's where it's going to go, it's going to have a big impact on those numbers. Our economy works on farmers and tourism operators like myself, bringing in outside revenue. This is our foreign direct investment, is tourism revenue, is foreign direct investment into rural Ireland.
This area out here that you see is all under exploration now for fracking, or it's likely to be explored for unconventional gas. I suppose where we have a duty of care to the land. So we want it to be there for the next generation if they're interested in it. Farming can't coexist with shallow fracking in North Leitrim.
These unconventional wells produce an incredible amount of waste. Where is the waste going to go? I have not seen any planning for the waste. They need to get rid of their drilling waste, the fracking waste, the frack flowback. It's toxic. If they spread it on farm fields or on the forestry lands, a heavy rain and it'll wash off into the little waterways that end up in your locks. It is impossible to safely regulate this new form of fracking. It's just impossible to do safely.
Our biggest concern is the health for our children. What kind of conditions will we be living in, and what effect will that have on our grandchildren? And you know, that needs to be addressed properly. And people that in the country that have no opinion on this should be concerned that our health is at risk.
High volume hydraulic fracking is totally different. It's a step change in technology from the traditional fracking that has been going on for the last 60 years. My main concern about fracking is obviously the health issues. There will be pollution and contamination of the water, both ground surface and under the surface water. Even if you put down nothing but pure water from the beginning to the end of the whole process, what comes back up is not pure water plus methane. What comes back up is many chemicals which are down there and have very, very serious health risks. There will be millions of gallons of contaminated water per well. Because the contamination will be long-term and slow, the lag time for some of the illnesses relating to contamination of the environment can take 20+ years.
Health impact assessments aren't happening. So maybe they'll do a health impact assessment on us when we're being fracked, and that'll be useful to somebody else. You know, it's starting here, but it's going to end up in Kilkenny, it's going to end up in Clare, it could be in Navan, it'll go across to Monaghan.
They will start in the most desperately hit rural communities. Once they get established, they'll start fracking everywhere. The other problem is water moves. And contamination in the Shannon will move. That water will end up in the cities. The underground water, if they do contaminate the groundwater with methane and ethane, that moves also.
Really, as a geologist, you want to prevent any actions which might cause problems to the environment. You can have severe risks caused by pre-existing natural fractures, faults or joints inside the rocks, which would enable the products of the fracturing process to reach the surface, or the very easiest, reach into an aquifer. Studies have been carried out very recently by Durham University, and the findings were that you have to be very careful indeed when you set off a fracking process. You have to have a minimal depth, down to where your fracking unit is, so that any leakages might at least be contained. And if they're not contained, of course, it can cause major problems. And really seriously, that's where fracking is at the moment, and in considerable concern of every layperson as well as professional.
We need to tell our politicians and our leaders that this is not the way forward for Ireland, because we have too many unknowns for a very small known. The amount of gas there in the bigger picture of the world's gas needs is minuscule. So the amount that it would even benefit Ireland is far less than the amount that it will cost us in health, in agriculture and tourism.
The places that can keep fracking out need to keep it out. And the best thing Ireland can do is to wait and watch all the mistakes happening everywhere else. Watch all the incidents and the frack blowouts and the accidents and the pollution.
The bottom line is that if we run into increased health risks from all sorts of diseases which have lag times of 20 or 30 years, we cannot undo it. We cannot simply turn the tap off. And the idea that you put a lump of cement on the top of a drill well and walk away, that will not stop the pollution seeping out long term in all directions. So that is the issue. You create a problem that you don't know how to solve, and it's not over a small area like a contaminated factory or contaminated area from an industrial site. We are talking about tens of thousands of hectares damaged long term, and we say, what do? We can do nothing, because the damage cannot be fixed by simply pouring cement on top of it and walking away.